Yeah, I think Dileepji,
Huh?
that 1 2 minute more is they are joining some people.
Okay.
Guruji,
Huh?
how many minutes do we have to
Each
speak?
speaker will have 7 minutes.
Okay, all right.
We have six speakers.
Okay.
Didi is going to share for
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, share forward.
So she is a co-host. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, you make her co-host.
So when I speak, Didi can admit people.
Sure, sure.
So I think we can start. I'm going to record.
Okay.
Namaste, everyone. Welcome to our conference, Health and Well-Being. That's the Sustainable Development Goal Agenda of the United Nations. We have 17 Sustainable Development Goals. First one is no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reducing inequality, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice and strong institutions, and the last one is the partnerships for the goals. So today's our subject is good health and well-being. That's the third sustainable development goal of the United Nations. So as yoga practitioners, spiritualists, this is a major sustainable development goals for us. As per Acharya Ananda ji, is the secretary of the Ananda Marga ashram. I thought it's the best way to do, because we had to make UN agenda for all of the ashrams as a project. He is willing to do that part. I am so happy about. And Ananda Marga organization, I know over 35 years since from India. So here I am Guru Dileepji. I'm the global chairman for the World Yoga Community. We are the NGOs at the UN. I am the secretary of the religious committee at the UN and the vice president of the Wellbeing Network at the United Nations. Here I like to invite Acharya Abhiramanandaji to open the remarks.
Good. Thank you so much, Dileepji. Namaskar.
No, sir.
It is my honor to be the part of this program. Honorable guest and the distinguished and the all delegates and the speakers and all UN delegates, you are most welcome in this conference. This is the UN agenda. Ananda Marga endorses the health and well-being in order to establish the glory, peace, and happiness around the whole globe. It is my pleasure and honor to the part of the program. But now I like to invite and welcome you all guests. First, I like to welcome Dileep Guruji. Guruji Dileepji, chairman of the World Yoga Community. He is the one of the pioneer feeler of the different organization. He has been coordinating day and night, and he is the most important figure in this New York of the interfaith and also coordinating of the UN. So our plan to collaborate numbers of the organization to UN agenda to take and present around the whole world what we have been doing and what we will do in the future. So thank you so much, Dileepji, for having such a wonderful collaboration with Ananda Marga. Anand Marga always is praising you and endorsing your organization, and you have been too, vice versa. So now Acharya Dhruvji, and you are welcome. He's the corporate secretary of Anand Marg. He is doing such a wonderful job in New York sector around the more than 13 countries in all North America, Caribbean. And he's handling all those corporate matter. And he is the Acharya, he's promoting also the meditation and yoga in the last 40 years in this organization. Now I like to welcome Dr. Remy Alpo. She is the Executive Director and Institute of the Peace and Leadership, NGO resident at the United Nations Advisor, World Yoga Community, USA in Nigeria. Thank you so much, Dr. Remy. You are most welcome.
Namaste, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, dear brother. Peace and blessings to you all. It is a great pleasure to be here today. At first, I did not know you were going to call me to be the first speaker,
No,
but
I'm not calling, just introducing first.
oh, okay, all right, good.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes,
And
thank you very much.
This is formal remarks, okay?
Yes.
Now our guest is honorable guest and very close with the interfaith, Kripalji, Dr. Kripalji, World Yoga Community USA and a psychiatric doctor. You are welcome, Dr. for these panels and discussions. I am very thankful to you. You are today is the part of this program in this conference. Your grace and understanding is required for the whole world and the community too. Thank you so much, Dr. And next guest speaker is the Sri Gandhi Kotla Aryamaji, and he's the advisor of World Yoga Community and the Sarva Dharma Service Center, United States of America. You are welcome, Dr. Dr. Aryamaji. And now Acharya Silvadrananji is the most important figure in Ananda Marga. He is the senior Acharya of Anand Marga, and he is the Prodha also from the Anand Marga and the different part of the world. He has worked, and he is very interested in the health and well-being. He has researched, he is a writer, and in the health and well-being and the numbers of the books he wrote. Thank you so much, Acharya Silvadranji. Abdul. Now, Acharya Dr. Dhanju Gistaji, Acharya Dhanju Gistaji, member of New York sector, Anand Marg, United States. So you are most welcome for this health and well-being and taken the agenda of the third agenda of the United Nations of good health and well-being. So this is our goal to present each and everything, and we'll do something positive. But Ananda Marga is doing a lot of work around the whole globe, and around the whole globe, more than 10,000 centers free of cost. We are doing all nuns and monks for the sustainable development of this UN, particularly health and well-being. Each and every day, thousands and thousands of people have been taught by meditation online. So during the pandemic, we have done a lot of work. Russia and Taiwan, Germany, Hong Kong, Japan, Korea, and also all around the world, in India, in United States, Canada, Mexico, and also in Guatemala. So these are the work which Anand Marg is presenting. So thank you so much. We have been always busy and doing the work of the meditation, yoga, and bring the knowledge of, all those understanding of real and dynamic of yoga and meditation. So people will become healthy and happy, and they feel this is our home where everything is very clearly, very perfectly. So I think all yoga community of the world and who are doing the good work, I welcome. And the Facebook page online going on. So I welcome you all. Please take the benefit and awareness for the all speaker. So now is floor for Dileepji to carry on this program. Thank you so much for having me and my organization. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Thank you, Acharya. So wonderful to work with you. Our first speaker will be Acharya Clark Dhruva Forden. He's a corporate secretary of the Ananda Marga New York sector. from Washington, D.C., USA. Last year, he presented very well. I'm so happy he's back with us. Ajarya Dileepji, please, floor is for you.
I think music first, no?
Okay.
Music,
Music, they're ready, right?
yeah.
Okay, just a minute. Didi is handling or Lelida, what is her name?
Lalita.
Lelida.
There is
Sister Lalita.
Yeah, okay. So music will go first, then
Namaskar.
meditation will go. Okay.
Namaskar.
Lelida, please proceed.
I'm live.
Wow, beautiful music, Lelida Orlovsky.
Namaskar.
Appreciate. I'd
meditation.
like to invite Didi Ananda Syria. She's going to lead us with a meditation. Floor is for you, Didi.
Okay, we're going to do the short guided meditation. So let us all sit straight. Try to keep your sitting position relaxed and straight. Keep your shoulder rotated to the back, your chest slightly forward, and close your eyes. Gently inhale and exhale through the nose. Be aware of your breathing. Give your full attention into your breath and feel your breath slowly flowing in and out. Still remembering the gentle, soothing music that just now we heard. You're still feeling the flow of that music is so much soothing into your heart. And now you feel your breath is getting slower and deeper. Your whole body is becoming more relaxed. Your breath is becoming more deep. And you start to feel the feeling of gentleness in your heart flowing through your breathing. You really feel that you enjoy this moment, the moment of gentleness, the moment of subtleness. And now go deep into your heart and you feel there is love. You may want to remembering the feeling of love that you feel in your life and create this feeling is becoming more and more. Just you feel that love is just like a light in your heart, and that light is getting bright, extending its rays in all direction. At the same time, you feel that love feeling is expanding further and further. And you feel that love is infinitely. And you feel that love is just like the consciousness. You feel oneness with that, the infinite love, the infinite consciousness. You just feel something, there is no limit. It's just love flowing through your breath. Every time you inhaling and exhaling, you feel that you are merging with that infinite. And you are part of that infinite love. You are part of that, the infinite consciousness. You are part of that cosmic. Just like a drop of water merging with the ocean. And just continue to feel this feeling. Just continue to feel this infinite. You are one with that infinite love. You are one with that, the infinite consciousness. You are one with the cosmic. There is only the feeling of oneness and infinite. Continue this feeling throughout your breath. Still with the feeling of that infinite love, still with the feeling of that blissfulness in your mind and your heart. Now slowly feel again that you are sitting in the place where you are. You will always still keep this feeling of the infinite love and the blissfulness. And slowly you may end your meditation and you can open your eyes. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now I like to invite Acharya Dileepkumar. Where is he? I saw him earlier.
Yeah, he's supposed to connect in.
Please unmute yourself. Keep your video on. Are you going to share anything through the computer?
Yeah,
Okay.
namaskar. Yeah, I'm just having a little bit of a computer issue, but I'll try to share a short video. Let's hope it will.
Right.
My computer is a bit old and it's not responding much. So let me try.
When you are ready, let me know.
Yeah, I think my computer is just not working.
Okay, further program will start. Later on, he will do this. No problem.
Should we go with the speakers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to just restart the computer. It's not responding.
Once you're ready, Diptivanandi, let me text to me back. Okay.
Okay, all right. Sorry.
So I like to invite Ajarya Durwaji. Those who use two devices, please mute one device.
Dileepji, your voice is breaking. Dileepji, your voice is breaking. Please.
Because somebody is using two devices, that's why. Yeah, Durwaji, floor is for.
Ananda is feeding back. Okay.
Dhruv should be spotlight something.
I speak. Okay.
Yeah.
It will be when I speak. Yes. And it goes through the microphone.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for the introduction. Let me just say, I think it was interrupted. So I'm Acharya Dhruva. That's what it says. Clark Forden, corporate secretary of Ananda Marga Inc. with New York sector, and I'm working out of our office in Washington, D.C. Thank you very much for this. I really, when I visit here, I feel like amidst rishis on the banks of a river in India, sharing and working towards a future and the betterment coming from the various ashrams and sharing and the nice thing about this is that it's going beyond just the banks of the river. It's the banks of um, the earth, you could say, and all its oceans and space, of course, sitting there together. I feel that this is the great uh, approach to well-being um, and encouraging others to do the same thing in collaboration with one another. I appreciate how this is organized and the spirit behind it. The I feel compelled to speak to part of the, I guess, the subtitle of this conference, that's celebrating the 100th birth anniversary of Sri Sri Anandamurti. I feel compelled to say that I was involved in organizing that and a number of takeaways from that experience I wanted to share and also help set up and possibly the other four speakers that are here, or the three speakers that are here, with the potential to follow up with something that we've learned today in the last few days when we have um, organized a seminar celebrating Sri Sri Anandamurti's birth anniversary. And and so the takeaways from that um, uh, for me is that the theme was Sankalpa of Mahasambhuti. Sankalpa being a very powerful word there. So that when we take it apart, we can only begin to understand what it is. Just we can't even fathom what it is, but it's basically taking, as you probably know, many of you, a decision, a life or a impacting decision that has tremendous opportunity up in it. And so because we felt that focusing on that decision of our guru to create a mission that would serve the world was and is something extremely special and I wanted to share. I guess we want to share that with you as well today. Um, so in one of the programs I presented on Prout. You may have heard Prout, Progressive Utilization Theory, P-R-O-U-T, and how that particular philosophy was integrated so deeply into the fundamental core ideology of Ananda Marga in a volume in a Shastra set of sutras called Ananda Sutram. So Prout was given as the 5th chapter after a series of incredible spiritually relevant and uh, personal and just wonderful sutras up in the first 4 chapters, the 5th being towards Prout. And so Prout is basically expressing these spiritual values, this universal paradigm that Baba uh, left with us in the first 4 chapters, and reflecting them in the the yogic reflection for the spiritual and devotional, and reflecting it into the society, into the jagat, into the world, and and applying it, that spirit of yoga, that spirit of truth, that spirit of spirituality, and applying it to the mundane, the super mundane, the extraordinary, uh, complicated world that we have, and apply it there with some principles and some direction. So when we talk about um, the opportunity for good health and well-being, he has introduced us to this a courageous approach of being fearless in approaching all the challenges that we have in society, all the challenges that we have in the environment, all the challenges we have in cultures and clashes between societies. We have an opportunity to bring this reflection of our yoga, of our paths, into the everyday life through social services, of course. Um, you know, uh, we know the UN programs, and we support them, and we are part of that, especially in our disaster relief team. And the emergency services are incredibly important. And then also uh, the um, the relief efforts that NGOs do, and that I've been associated with AMERT and our AMERTEL, the relief teams. So there's also, so to bridge that gap between this of opportunity to reflects yoga into our society, we have to bridge the gap to actually supplying and serving people so we can emerge from an emergency situation, or we can restore large parts of our population who are living in poverty or living in oppression or exploitation. So how do we bridge the gap between this ideal through these sutras and actually realizing them? And that's where we have the courage, like the NGOs in our United Nations family, um, to to understand um, how we might look at long-term solutions, redesigning the whole socioeconomic fabric of the world, so that we don't have to be catching up and putting bandages on major problems and trying to just satisfy donors, um, uh, where where the fundamental changes that we need are deeper socioeconomically, um, with the disparity of wealth, you could say. Um, So anyway, I wanted to share that. I don't know where uh, I am in time. Dileepji, where am I in
We
time?
have 1.5 minutes more.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I feel like I'm on a game show, and I surrender my time to. Oh no, that's it. That is a game show. That's in the Senate. I surrender my time
No, that's a question and answer
to
section.
my.
At that time, if you miss something here, you can show it that time. No
Oh,
problem.
excellent. Thank you so much. So it's just exciting that we're working together, and my colleagues will, I'm sure, shed further light on some of the ideas that brought up and possibly in a different way. So thank you so much for the opportunity to speak, and God bless everyone. Namaskar. Namaskar.
That was wonderful to bring the point of the work you did with the relief group. And I always encourage our Abhiramanandaji and other people to be part of the UN. Always come there, we interact. That way we can learn about the system there and bring to our people. I appreciate your points. So,
Yes, we've had our agencies registered with the UN Office of Information, Public Information,
okay.
in years past. So yes, we are aiming to renew our membership and to be official members. Thank you so much for reminding us.
Okay, thanks. And next speaker is Dr. Remy Arapo. She's the Executive Director of the Institute for Peace and Leadership and NGO representative at the United Nations and advisor of the World Yoga Community. She's originally from Nigeria, living in America, New York, a long time friend of mine and supportive of all of our activities. Dr. Remy, I'm looking for her. Okay, I saw it.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you see me now or hear
I
me?
see her.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, okay. Namaste, everybody. Peace and blessings to you all. Thank you so much, Guruji, for this invitation. And thank you so much to members of the Ananda community for hosting this event on health and well-being. Earlier, when we started the program, there was an introduction that said that the SDG 3 on health and well-being is part of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And, this is also part of the 2030 agenda, which ensures healthy lives and promoting well-being for us all at all ages. And, the target is to reduce global maternal mortality ratio and end preventable deaths of newborns and children, to end the epidemics of AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, and other communicable diseases, to reduce mortality from non-communicable diseases, to strengthen the prevention and treatment of substance abuse, to halve the number of deaths and injuries from road and traffic accidents, to ensure universal access to sexual and reproductive health care services, to achieve universal health coverage, and to reduce the number of deaths and illnesses from hazardous chemical and pollution. So the World Health Organization also defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of diseases. And most times when we think of health, we think of diseases or death. But when we think of well-being, we have to think of, our approach to a healthy lifestyle and our approach to healthy living. What I would like to share with you today is that many of us in our various communities need to understand the difference between health and wellness. We need to promote wellness and very good activities in our individual lives as well as in our households and in our communities, so that we can reduce or eliminate the health disparities or the health challenges that may occur from not having a good well-being. So wellness has a direct influence on our overall health, which is essential for living in a robust, happy, and fulfilled life. And this could include social connectedness. It could include activities where, at the social level, we interact with other people. It doesn't keep us as an individual, or keeping us away from activities that can promote social well-being. This also includes exercise. Exercise doesn't mean going to the gym all the time. There are many activities that we can engage in that can count as exercise, so that physically we can continue to be well. Our nutrition is also very important. The types of food that we eat, sleep and mindfulness are very important. Of course, we live in a fast-paced environment, but if we incorporate activities that promote mindfulness, and also make sure or ensure that we have adequate sleep, we can have overall well-being. Each and every one of us may be impacted by some other types of physical or mental challenge. Of course, these are sometimes based on the choices that we make on a day-to-day basis. But most times, because of the inadequate services that may be available in certain low-income communities or developing countries, many people are unable to promote well-being in their own individual lives and in their surroundings. So again, if we look at wellness, it's just more than physical health. It is a holistic and multidimensional approach, which consists of 6 dimensions, and it could include physical, such as fitness or exercises. It could include intellectual, which is mental exercise and engaging in activities such as learning and problem solving and other creative activities to support our mental well-being. This could also include emotional. Emotional wellness is very important, especially when we're looking at dealing with stress. And environmental, the nature of the environment that we find ourselves in can promote healthy living. And also social, the types of people we interact with or associate with can either be good or bad for our well-being. So we have to ensure that we have longer term relationships with family and friends and people who will make us happy, so that we can be healthier. And again, we look at spiritual. Spiritual wellness does not imply, to be part of a religious order or a faith. It doesn't even mean going to the mosque or the church. It doesn't even mean participating in any religious activities, but overall, developing compassion, caring, forgiving, and helping other people, can be spiritual wellness. And then the other thing is, how do we cultivate all these habits? We have to change our lifestyle and incorporate activities that will promote healthy living. We have to also look at people around us and invite other people who are like-minded to work on activities that will promote healthy livings. And finally, the UN Declaration on Human Rights says that health is a human right. The right to the appropriate services is a human right. The right to curbing health disparities in low-income communities and developing countries is a human right. Promoting activities that promote wellness or engage in wellness through initiatives, whether at the individual, community, or national level, or the types of services or policies that are available, are all human rights. Let us continue to take care of our selves, so that we can promote wellness in our individual and personal lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Remy Alapo. You brought the human rights. So everything related to the human rights. It doesn't matter where we coming from, which religion you're from, which culture you're from. We all have the equal rights. Some people have so much money, wealth. Some people don't have it. That's why we have the UN, to stop all the different barriers. I'm glad you brought that point. When we have the Q&A, we had to bring more those areas. Thank you, Dr.
You're
Remy.
welcome.
Next speaker is Dr. Kribal Singh. He's a retired psychiatrist and a spiritualist, and he's from the Sikh community, the advisor of the Value community. Dr. Kribal Singh Ji, floor is for you.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Thank you for inviting me to this great meeting and with all the honorable speakers and participants. I'm trained in Western medicine. You know, I'm a graduate from Medical College Amritsar and spent some time in Chandigarh. Then UK, I studied emergency medicine, family medicine, and psychiatry. After spending time there, then I came to United States, where I've been predominantly um, practicing in the field of psychiatry. You know, the healthcare model in the Western medicine used to be what they call biological, psychological. Actually, in the to start with, it was just biological. Then we added a psychological component. Now we have a sociological and family component added to it. Now, more recently, in the last less than 50 years, also added a spiritual component to it. So it's the interplay of all that determines what kind of health and well-being we are going to have. You know, like a car with the 4 wheels, if any of the wheels is out of tune, it leads to wear and tear of the tires and it cannot function properly. Same applies to us. So there has been what they call body, mind, and spirit institutes, seminars, and workshops taking place all over the country. It started with initially with Harvard, and before that it had started in Maringer Foundation, and Swami Rama was one of them. They did some experiments on that how self-control can be achieved with the help of yoga and meditation. Then there's in the healthcare, there is a what they call the Sikh angle for me, having raised in the Sikh way of life with Guru Nanak. And Guru Nanak's pointed one of his prayers, he says, Baba, or khana khushi khwar, jit khadya tan pidiya man mein chale vikar. He said, anything you eat which causes bad situation for you, causes discomfort, that's not the way to do it. You know, like we have these days, all kinds of allergies and all kinds of other things, and people think pill is the answer for everything. You know, you can't eat pizza, instead of not eating pizza, take a pill and eat it. You know, and you have allergy, take a pill and you can do all those things you want to do. So pills, more and more pills being kind of pushed on the community. There's a pharmaceutical and a capitalistic angle to all that. But Guru Nanak said, no, we need to have a lifestyle change, and we need to eat only those kind of things which are compatible with our life. Like people have gluten-free, you know, some people benefit from that. Some people cannot eat some kind of cereals or are allergic to peanuts. So we need to aware and avoid those things. Then he says, Baba, hor pen khushi khwar, jit pede man pidiya man mein chale vikar. Any kind of covering on our body, whether it's cosmetic or clothes or any kind of thing which we use, if it is causing a discomfort, need to avoid them instead of insisting I must do that. And like, for example, tight sandals can cause a lot of foot problems, for example, and if that's the problem, person need to avoid that. Same as tight clothing or whatever else which is not giving them the comfort needs to be avoided, instead of insisting that they must keep up with the Jones, with the other people, how they are. We need to recognize what our needs are and adjust our lifestyle accordingly. Then is another hymn in which Guru Nanak says, Baba hor sauna khushi khwar, just Baba hor sauna khushi khwar, just sutte tan pidiya man mein chale vikar. He said all the time, sleeping, you know, not doing anything and wasting your time and daydreaming, and an idle person's mind is a devil's workshop, as the old saying is. You know, it doesn't help. We need to get up and do something to develop some skills and use them to earn an honest living, and then work towards helping the society with our savings and with the skills by sharing them. So how do you achieve that state of blissfulness? There's an equipoise, which is part of the being healthy, and this is Guru Amar Das, third in line to Guru Nanak says, Anand Anand sabko kaha, Anand Guru te janya, janya Anand sada gurte, kirpa kare pyarya, kar kirpa kilvik kate gyan anjan sarya, andron jinka moh tuta शब्द जैसा कहे नानक एक है गुरु एक कहे नानक नंद जाने Pap, you have to have a mentor who can help and assist you to develop a lifestyle which will produce equipoise instead of overindulgence in life, because overindulgence of any kind has its own consequences and can cause a lot of discomfort. So what the guru prescribed was that, we need to do Nam Japna. Nam means, to live our life in gratitude. Guru Nanak talked about the concept of Ikankar. That's where the true reality is. And that's the creator of everything, who has all love, no enmity and no fearfulness, and timeless being, while we humans and creation is time limited, and source of all wisdom. And we learn again how to comprehend those qualities with the help of a mentor, Guru Prasad, by the grace of the Guru. And that kind of reality, when we recognize and rejoice by them, the nature around us and within us, that gives us self-confidence and also sense of gratitude and wonder, and creates a state of what in our language Vismat. Then I already touched about working, honest, making your living honestly in an ethical way. And then, of course, service, volunteerism, that we not only need to, have fun, but we can have fun even in volunteering. We can contribute financially, intellectually help us, and physically we can perform duties to help other people. So that all goodwill, compassion leads to Sarvadha Phala, the welfare of all people. So Guru gave us emphasis on the self-control instead of overindulgence. And he gave us 5 articles of faith, which each has a significance. One is keeping long hair for us in our tradition, Khalsa tradition, which means that these hair given by God to men and women in a different way. Preserving them, keeping them is an effort, and it also is to remember always that God has a purpose. We may not understand, but as we take care of them, it helps to develop perseverance and self-restraint, and also encourages us to.
We have 1 more minute.
Oh, sorry. Encourages us to then examine the nature carefully. The same way the comb, cleanliness next to godliness, and then also keep our mind clean with our scriptures and having a sangat, and then bracelet to remind the omnipresence of God and do the right things. And then we have a kashara underwear to remind fullness and access from all kinds of sexually transmitted diseases and increases trust with each other. Then the kirpan to help again for the social justice, and social justice stems from remembering the human rights. Our rights are preserved when we take care of the other people's rights, and sometime as a last resort we may have to even rise up in arms to bear arms to protect the human rights of others. So that way, life of self-control moderation, avoiding overindulgence, and helping each other. And I'll end it with the Nanak Nam Chadi Kala Tere Pane Savadak Bala. Keeping the Kumkar in your head, in your mind all the time leads to exalted spirits and provides you the energy to work toward the common good for everyone. Thank you. Sat Sri Akal.
Thank you, Ji. That you brought some very, very valuable points from the Sikh tradition. In my experience, I know Sikh community protected India from the north and west side, and the Ananda Marga protected India from the north to east side. There's a big history about two organizations, you know. So we'll go back to the Q&A. We had to ask some questions about this. I'd like to invite our musician. Where is she? Lelita.
For the second musician, we have Dada Ragatmananda. He will play a flute.
Okay, just raise your hand. I'm just looking.
Yeah, he is using the Dada Diptimananda account. Yeah, he's ready.
Is ready.
Me? Okay, I found
The flute music.
did you want me to show the video?
Dada Ragatmananda to play the music.
After that.
Oh, I show first the video or then
First music, then video.
first music. Okay. Good.
That was a beautiful music. Wonderful, wonderful. So Deepti Ananda is going to show the video.
Dada is from Mexico right now, in Mexico, Cuernavaca.
Oh,
Originally from Japan.
arigatou gozaimashita.
Okay, so I was not able to play the one I made this afternoon, but I'll play an older one and I'll just speak and explain. You have to allow me to screen share.
Yeah, you can.
I'm just going to play it and I'll skip over some parts. And, this is our New York office. So we have a small community there and we teach meditation and do meditation together and yoga and many practices. So this is in Flushing, New York. And they also do various classes for the seniors in the different senior centers and organize meditation retreats for the people interested in that. And we normally do a lot of chanting in our retreats, and meditation and lectures and different things. And we've been participating in the International Day of Yoga and with the United Nations. So I think you're probably all very familiar with that. So let me skip fast over. So we have different retreat centers, and this center is in Quebec, Canada. And so we have small retreats there for students, for the public, and for our members. We also have a retreat center in North Carolina. And so over there we have various events. In our events we have drama and things for the kids as well. And we always serve vegetarian food in our retreats. And lots of chanting. And then we also have a retreat center in Missouri. And there we also have various meditation events. So this is some of the bigger ones. This is in California, in Los Altos, where I live. And we have a meditation center there up in the hills, very beautiful. And we also organize retreats in places where we don't have our own properties. This is up in the mountains, close to Phoenix. So we had a meditation retreat there in the nature. And that was really nice. Let me skip over this part. And then in Los Angeles, we feed the homeless and poor with around 30 tons of food every month. And we feed around 2,000 people every month. So basic needs of people must be met. Their health and well-being depends on food. And so we provide food in Los Angeles. There is so much poverty over there and so many homeless people. Los Angeles is like the center of homelessness in the US. And we also have meditation retreats here in Mexico. This is in Monterrey. And this is in Guanajuato. And then here's the Ragatmananji doing service, playing for people, music. And we have various activities in Dallas as well. And now here we come to Anandira. This is where Dilyana Achira lives. So she has a wellness center there, teaches people how to do detox and meditation. And so there's a women's center but men are also welcome for some retreat events. Beautiful center in Penn Valley. And Ananda is also a women's center in Texas. And so we have another teacher there, Dileepkumar. So we're very active in teaching meditation all over and growing organic food. We have a women's welfare center in New York City, in Queens Village. And so now due to the pandemic, most of the events are online, but DD is there and that center is active. So, okay, so that was a short introduction to our activities. So a lot of meditation activities, teaching yoga to the public, and yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Deepti and Ananda, for showing some glimpses from the past events. I'm happy. Some of the events I was there, photo shows. We'll go to the next part of the panel discussion group. Next speaker is Acharya Shaila Bhadrayananda Avadhodaji. He's a senior monk from the Ananda Marga. He's from Singapore. Shaila Bhadrayananda, floor is for you.
Thank you, Guruji. Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you for your invitation and to Acharya Abhiramananji's invitation to share a few feelings about health and well-being based on many years of experience helping others in this field and also learning from that experience with so many people. I think there are some major takeaways. The first one I would say is living your life with your passion. So when you do what you love and you love what you do, then the work is not work anymore. It becomes a joy. And I remember Tagore, his famous quote was, I slept and dreamt that life with joy. I awoke and found that joy was work. Joy. I awoke and I found that life was service. I acted, and behold, service was joy. So in sleeping state or in state of ignorance, we feel that, joy maybe on a physical level for myself. But when we awake, we realize actually, I will get happiness in helping others. And when I do that, I realize, oh yeah, that's actually true. So I think that leads into my second takeaway, which other speakers have said, and it's actually true. When we go out of our small ego with all of its problems and complaints and judgments and self-pity, and we see how other people who are less fortunate than us have to live, it causes us to it causes within us a feeling of compassion and compassion for them and gratefulness for our own situation, which is much, much better than so many others. So service is a very important aspect of good health. Spirituality is not just meditation. It is important, but a genuine spirituality is a beautiful combination of that meditation, knowledge, knowing oneself, and service, again, service or action. And this brings about devotion, love. So Sri Krishna outlined the three major pillars of yoga in the Gyan, Karma, and Bhakti. And Ananda Marga teachings also combine these three in the sense that they all work together. So a devotee is someone who serves the creation in all of its manifestations and sees its manifestation everywhere. So there is a constant feeling of service and joy because we remember that the beloved is in all things. So there was a beautiful quotation from my master in one of his books, and he said, it very beautifully encapsulates what I'm trying to share here. Hands to work, heart to him, and endlessly active, drift in bliss. So it is a beautiful way to feel serving others being so important in our own life. Next is adhering to certain universal cardinal principles of life, moral principles, ethical principles. Someone has mentioned this, but it's really important because when our mind is pure through service and through, the yamas and niyamas, different ethical guidelines for our life, then if our mind is pure, if there's no stress, then our blood is pure. And that's the liquid that feeds all of our cells. So it's very important as part of sometimes meditation is divorced from ethics, but actually then it's not really a meditation in a deeper sense. It's for relaxation, it's for calming, it's for stress release. But for the metaphysical or spiritual dimension of meditation, it requires a base of morality. Because when my mind is pure, that pure mind can go deeper in meditation. So that's my next takeaway. And my sixth sharing for good health. Actually the word yoga means union. And today we see all over the world the disconnect, the lack of union. So connection brings health. Disconnection brings sickness. And this is shown everywhere in the world today. Example would be nature. We spend 93% of our time indoors in our cars and in our homes. And so we're disconnected from nature. But just going outside, we all know how much it relieves our stress and how our spirits are lifted by getting the sunshine every day, maybe 30 minutes. Doesn't need a lot, but that is very important. Connection with family. The longest living people in the world in Okinawa, they and in many places where they found longest living people, the sense of family is very strong. In Japan, I'm told that the children fight with each other. Who's going to take care of the parents? Can you imagine? So this is the sense of community. Third one is community. So this sharing, love, sharing resources in a community. So connection with community is the third connection we have to have. And fourth is with ourselves, accepting ourselves, loving ourselves, wherever we're at with our health and our bodies, take responsibility to make it better. So these are the four ways that we should be reconnecting with nature, with family, with the community, and with our own bodies. So this is my sixth takeaway. And seventh is to have a healthy mental outlook. I think someone mentioned, I think it's important, a healthy mental outlook. It means, we say struggle is the essence of life. In other words, always remember the glass is half full, not half empty. See the positive side of life. And be ready to struggle. Nobody has it easy. And so when we have this spirit of, readiness, willingness to face our internal challenges, external challenges, that builds resilience, So, the concept of hormesis is what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So this struggle component is the healthy mental outlook. And a little bit of stress is definitely not bad. That's what all the research says. So out of bad, something good always comes. And a saint is a sinner who never gave up. So these are all the different quotations that we can remember to help us to realize that struggle And conquering those weaknesses is the key to good health and strong mind. And my last takeaway is all about balance, yin and yang. When to take solid food, when to take liquid food, when to press my point, when to respect what others have to say. So life every day is constantly changing. So we have to be flexible to the situation and be able to not get stuck in a certain way of thinking and a certain way of doing, because sometimes we have to use our wisdom to decide when is too much and when is not enough, and so on and so forth. So that golden outcome of balance in each and everything we do is what we should be striving for, because that brings us balanced mind, healthy body, and pure heart. So these are my takeaways for health and well-being, and I hope they would be useful for those that are listening. Thank you.
It is very important to brought the balance. Life, everything about the balance. Sometimes we are addicted to certain things. Even doing yoga for 10 hours, it will destroy us. So you brought the balance, you brought the meaning of the yoga, you brought about the community, you brought out the personal respect and love and care. That's a very balanced way you think about, you implement, that shows it on your face. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So our next speaker is Acharya Dr. Danchu Gista, the member of the New York sector and the Marga. I met him 1 year back. Dr. Danchu, floor is for you.
Thank you very much, Guruji, and thank you, Dada Abhiyamaranji. Timirji, will you be able to show my slides?
Didi is showing, right?
Timir,
I think co-host.
She's a co-host. I already put her.
no,
It is a PowerPoint of Acharya.
Timirji, can you please show?
So just you give the permission of the screen share to Timirji.
Can you hear?
Can you please allow me to share the
Yeah.
PowerPoint?
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Namaskar, everyone. I'm not able to share.
Dileepji, just you allow to Timirji to share.
Who?
Timir Prabhakar ji is already in the list. Participant. Timirji ji.
Let me see. The
You can-
gallery.
Yes.
Okay, he can share. My post.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, so this is the theme of our talk, health and well-being for individual and collective. And now we'll go into details of how we can bring about health and well-being at both individuals' life and collective life. Thank you. Next slide. Okay, so what we are going to be talking about is, in order to bring about health and well-being, we need to have idea of what the new science paradigm is, consciousness to cosmology to life origin and evolution. So that will be one topic that we'll be talking about. Next, we'll be talking about meditation, ideating on consciousness, promoting psychosomatic health and well-being and liberation and enlightenment. Next, we'll be talking about meditation benefits for body, mind, and spirit. Now I want to talk about something which is not there. We keep talking about wellness and yes, we should do this and that. It's important for us to have legislations promoting wellness. And this is what I'm going to be talking about also after point 3. What legislations we should have to promote wellness. Then the fourth point is transforming our world. I'm very aware of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of United Nations. We'll be presenting 10 of these goals. And then I want to talk about how we want to implement these United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. I'll talk about that, how we can set up a global network of universities involved in United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So this is what we are going to be talking about. We want to bring about holistic wellness all over the world. So let's start with the next one. Okay, so the new science paradigm, consciousness to cosmology to life origin and evolution. The fundamental entity pervading the entire creation is cosmic consciousness. Unit consciousness of living beings is derived from cosmic consciousness. And human evolution entails developing high levels of consciousness until the unit consciousness can merge with cosmic consciousness. So the practice of yoga, which is union of unit consciousness with cosmic consciousness, involves meditation, ideating on consciousness by means of mantras. Next, please. The next stage in this science paradigm is that consciousness devolves into cosmic mind. And cosmic mind then, by means of these 5 fundamental factors, provides the constituents of a physical universe. In other words, by means of these 5 fundamental factors, we have physical universe, and physical universe are operating all over, expanding. Physics, you can find out from physics, physics people say that the universe is expanding all the time. This is because the cosmic mind is continually developing new universes all the time. Out of these 5 factors, ethereal, aerial, luminous, liquid, and solid, these 5 factors give us physical universe. The first 3 factors give us luminous universe. Okay, so this is the difference. Okay, so let's go to the next one. The third stage in the development is that cosmic mind emanates microvita, which then energizes to form ectoplasmic mind. Under the influence of microvita, matter evolves into structures by means of synthetic reactions and then causes these primitive life structures. So essentially now, how life is originated in a primitive form on this earth. This is what the third stage is. After that, now we have the process of organic evolution, giving rise to plants and animals, and then eventually to conscious human beings. At this point, meditation comes into picture, how meditation will cause psychic dilation of the unit mind, eventually to parapsychic and intuitional development, and how psychic development of the mind culminates in mental liberation. So this is what we are after. We want to liberate ourselves from the embedded impressions in our mind due to what we have been interacting in this life and previous life. Now we are going to be talking about meditation. What is the process of meditation? May I have the next slide, please? So what is meditation? Meditation is connecting our unit mind with cosmic mind and thereby getting liberation from the embedded impressions in the mind, and thereby attaining a divine state of enlightenment. How do we do that? We ideate on the divine entity. But in order to ideate on the divine entity, we should be conscious that the divine entity is pervading all around us, outside, in our home. And if we are aware of this, this is the basis of how we should do meditation. When we recognize that the divine entity is pervading all around us, actually the divine entity is waiting for us to just get away from our mundane worlds and connect with it. In other words, meditation is living with the divine entity. Meditation is taking time off to live with the divine entity. When we do that, then the divine entity is ready to put divine energy into us. Divine energy into us, into our mind, will then remove all the embedded impressions, and this is how we become divine. Also, when the divine entity puts divine energy into us, our mind gets expanded, our mind gets lit up, and this is what we call enlightenment. When all the embedded impressions or samskaras are removed from the mind, we become divine. So these 2 words of enlightenment and divine are abstract words, but if we practice meditation, then they become what actually is. Enlightenment essentially is associated with how the mind becomes lit up and expanded, And then divinity is associated with how when we get liberated from our impressions of the mind, we become divine. Okay, so we go to next slide. Now, we will be talking about also how meditation will help us to cure ailments. And this is important. So can we show the next the picture, Jimmy? Yes. Let's look at this picture. Okay, see, we see here the connection between chakras and endocrine glands. All these chakras, you know, we go from Muladhara chakra to Swadhisthana chakra to Manipur chakra to Anahat chakra, Vishuddha chakra, Ajnana chakra, Sahasrara chakra. They all have corresponding glands. And so when we energize these chakras by means of mantra, we are also affecting these endocrine glands. And as a result of that, endocrine glands, they will secrete hormonal secretions, and that will affect the organs. This is how we can cure ailments. Okay. If you, for instance, concentrate here, you can cure diabetes on this Manipur chakra. If you concentrate on Anahat chakra, you can cure, you know, heart ailments. If you concentrate on these upper two chakras, you can cure neurological ailments. So this is what meditation is all about. On the one hand, to get enlightenment and become divine. On the other hand, to cure ailments as a result of this. So just keep this in mind, how the chakras are connected to the endocrine glands. And when you ideate on consciousness, this is what happens. We have the next slide. Okay, so let's talk about meditation benefits for body, mind, and spirit. Meditation reduces pain, boosts the immune system, lowers blood pressure, and reduces heart risk. As far as effect on the brain and mind, increases gray matter, cultivates willpower, builds focus and concentration, and boosts cognitive function. Spirit builds self-knowledge, helps relationship satisfaction, increases compassion, and improves empathy. So these are the meditation benefits for body, mind, and spirit. And the other thing one should also recognize that when we do meditation, we are just not doing it for ourselves. We are doing it for the common good. So this is another important aspect. Okay. Now I want to just, Timmy, no, we'll wait for this, but I want to talk about wellness promoting legislations. You know, we can keep talking about, yes, we should do this and we should do that, but essentially things come about from legislations. So the first thing we should have is healthcare for all. In United States, unfortunately, healthcare is privatized. And this is why we have big problems. This is why a big percentage of people are, don't have good health. We should remove privatized medical insurance and have healthcare for all. Single payer healthcare for all, as we have in Canada, as we have in Europe. Second thing we should do is affordable education for all. The problem in America is that we have 50% of the universities are private and 50% are public universities. Private universities, tuition fees, 70,000 tuition fees. It's just unaffordable. So we should have affordable education for all. The next one is we should change prisons into reformative centers. It is not fair, even if somebody has done something wrong in a big way, you want to put that person in prison, but you want to reform the person. And so we should change prisons from being so-called, enclosed cells to reformative centers. This is important. The next thing, as we know in the United States, every day things are happening. Police brutality in a big way. My proposal is that we cannot end police brutality by just saying police reform, because police people spend 6 months in these, being trained. I want to substitute that by a bachelor's degree in policing. Every, you may say, profession needs a degree. The police profession has to have a degree. Bachelor's degree in policing will teach police people how to be compassionate, how to relate to community. By interacting with colleagues in the university, they will also develop a broad focus. They will also develop humanism, neo-humanism. So this is my recommendation. This is probably I have not heard anybody talk about this bachelor's degree in policing. And then finally, when I go out, say for a walk, I see people homeless on the pavements. Nobody cares, because cars are driving by. And you have to walk in order to see the homeless and in order to help them. So I want us that we should have injunction that all cities must take care of homeless and they should have provision to provide shelter for homeless. So these are the 6 legislations that I want us to pass in order to promote wellness in a big way. Okay, next, let's go to the next slide, Jimmy, please. Transforming our world, United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. First one, end poverty in all its forms everywhere. Second, end hunger, achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. Third point, ensure healthy living and promote well-being for all at all ages. Fourth point, ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong opportunities for all. We are talking about that. Even in the US, we don't have inclusive and equitable quality education. Even in the US, we don't have this. All of these things are very important for you may say, developing countries, African countries. Achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation. Ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable modern energy. US is lagging behind in that. Promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, productive employment, and decent work. This will end poverty. Build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. Reduce inequality within and among countries. Now, these are big, you may say, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. But in order to implement them, this is my suggestion, that we form a global network of universities involved in implementing United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. When we have this global network, then universities will work with one another to implement all of these things. Primarily, universities in developed countries should be working with universities in developing countries to make sure that all the 17 goals, United Nations Development Goals, can be implemented. This is my proposal, and I want to propose this to Guruji, that you appoint me to form this global network of universities which would be involved in United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. This is how we'll make it possible. Okay. Thank you so much, Guruji, and thank you, Abhiramananji. Thank you, everybody. Okay, I'll welcome hearing from you.
Yeah, so I love the presentation because he brought all the major issues from the Sustainable Development Goals. Last 3 days, we had Global Interfaith Summit. Majority of the speakers were professors and religious leaders from high-end teamwork. We had over 38 NGOs came together. So first time in the history, came together for 3 days. Morning and evening, we are discussing about this issue. Definitely you can join in my group because we are going far more than a government can run. That's why I go. Don't look at for the government. Government have limitation.
I agree.
We are the government.
I also want to mention that I have experience in working at universities in many countries. In 6 countries, I've set up universities.
Great.
Okay. So I know what I'm a multicultural person. Okay. And my biggest aim is to reduce poverty and reduce human suffering.
Right.
And this is why I want that we form a global network of universities, whereby the universities in developed countries will help developing countries to implement this. And I would be delighted if we can work together on this.
Yeah, sure. We'll work on that part.
Thank you.
One of our speakers is having a problem with this network from New Jersey. So I am going to show a video which will enlighten all of us, because it will show us the unity from different organizations coming together and implementing things around the globe. They have like a 7 minutes video. Just wait a minute.
Guruji, after this presentation, maybe we can have we can meet on Monday and talk and discuss this, as I just mentioned, forming this.
We
Okay,
can.
Doctor, wait. We'll discuss.
We Aboriginals don't separate heaven from earth. We have our dreaming with us at all stages and at all times. First Peoples' cultures have all been connected through their dreaming since the dawn of time. A dreaming of coming together, of humanity in balance with the earth, our mother, and all living beings.
The dream expressed itself anew when the world's religious and spiritual traditions came together for the first time at the Parliament of World Religions in Chicago in 1893.
Sisters and brothers of America, we believe not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true.
Out of the devastation of World War II, the peoples of the world came together to sign the Charter of the United Nations in 1945. Then, drawing on indigenous wisdom and following the guidance of the wisdom traditions of the world, people of all beliefs gathered to dream URI into being in the year 2000. Like the birth of a star, light becomes matter, thoughts become words, and dreams become reality.
As the dream of unity always finds new ways to express itself, Unity Earth begins its journey of music and spirituality in Chiang Mai with the first U-Day Festival in 2012. Unity Earth's road to 2020 began with an opening ceremony in New York in 2016. This series of global events has held ceremony at sacred places around the world to celebrate the dream of humanity united, bringing together religious leaders, indigenous leaders, musicians, activists, and thought leaders. This sacred journey has included honouring the world's oldest living spiritual culture, the Australian Aboriginals, with the return to country of Mungo Man. Then onto the cradle of civilization in the Rift Valley of Ethiopia. Major events in North America, to the holy city of Varanasi in India, and most recently across the Holy Land in the Middle East.
This invitation is for you. This is your chance. If you feel even just an inkling of curiosity or interest in joining us on this great caravan of unity, then follow that call. Because you never know where it may lead. Something is prepared you. Something is calling you. Something is urging you into this. This is your chance to bring your gifts and your dream and your mission to make this world the fulfillment of all dreams and all missions. This is your chance. Don't let it go. Come and join us. Participate. Let us know what you want to see. Let us know what you want to be. What can you contribute to the Caravan of Unity? What can you contribute to Peace Weekend 2020? This is your chance. Don't let it go.
Calling all tribes and nations together. Unity is not a sameness, but rather it's a garden bursting with color, thriving in support of each other. You are I, and we are one race in this journey. As humanity will learn and to live peace. You are I, and we are people united. Earthly healing, no more fighting. 'Cause now we see. Come with us, calling people to people. Unity, heal with us, people to planet in harmony. The vision of the people that are present here is global, and it's changing the world in ways that we're only beginning to experience now. So come, let your peace warrior be activated, let your love light shine, and know that you matter. Your love matters, it makes a difference. You are we're in this journey, and we're learning to live peace. You are we are uniting, no more fighting, 'cause now we see.
To see how the leaders from different NGOs came and had a global travel, and they bring the idea to bring a universal teaching for everyone. So from this discussion, I understood we need that part. Do you agree that? Yes or no?
Sure.
Yes. So this is why we are working with the different groups. I do a lot of partnership events to bring people together. It's very important. Okay. I appreciate the way we keep our traditions, wonderful. But this is the 21st century. We had to think a global way or universal style. That will bring all the teachings of the masters from our traditions. So we had to work on that part. As a health practitioner, I was a health practitioner earlier. I used to help my father in his natural dispensary. He used to get patients, those who are suffering from cancer. So see, he never charged people. They go to a modern medical doctor and they give medicines and nothing will heal. And the doctor say, oh, you may live more, maybe 3 months or 1 month or 6 months. And they don't know where to go. And he take those patients and treat them with the natural medicines in a proper way. Acute and the chronic style. They have different medicines for it. And within 2 years, all the growth will disappear. And these modern medical doctors wonder what happened to them, you know. So we have the knowledge. Only thing is we are not promoting in proper way.
Right.
When the pandemic happened, in India, we had so much medicines, right? Like in homeo and naturopathy or yoga philosophy we have, or in the Ayurveda or Siddha traditions, they have so much medicine for immunity boosting. Why they are not promoting? So I called the health minister, I asked what is going on here. Now they are announcing, but it took long way for them to implement. That means they'll all look for the vote or the money. Education and the shelter and the food all should be free for a certain limit. Necessary.
I agree.
When in Kerala, we had total literacy campaign when I was in college. So 3 years, I worked with the first campaign in Ernakulam district. And we attained 100% literacy. And Kerala government took as a model for the state. And within 5 years, we got 100% literacy. And India government took it. So earlier time, our masters all implemented education is number one. You mentioned about the gender equality. In Kerala, it was a matriarchal system. It's not a patriarchal system.
Wow.
But when a conversion happened, all became like a patriarchal style. So we need a balance. That's a thing Dada mentioned about the balance. We need the balance. So now we are going for a question and answer section. That's very important for this type of panel discussion. So I'm going to spotlight all of the speakers and Dada Abhiramanandaji. 1 minute. And Remy. Dada Abhiramananda. And where Dr. Kribal Singh. And where is our Dada? I'm missing him. I saw it. Dhruva, okay. Dhruva has to be there. What happened? Pin. And Abhiramanandaji, do you need anyone else to add here? I have 2 spots left over.
You can add Dr. Ram is here.
Ram.
And
yeah, Ram is here, I saw.
Timirji. Yeah.
Ram.
And Dada COVID, he will little bit interact the question answer little bit. He is also doctor.
Dada COVID, okay. Yeah. So this is a first question I'm going to ask. What is the immediate solution we need? Okay, whatever happened in the past, fine. We need a sudden change for the health field, for a person or for the society. What is in your idea? I'll go with Dada from Singapore. All the speakers on the screen can unmute and leave it with the unmute. Okay.
Unfortunately, in developing,
if somebody is speaking,
Acharji, will speak first, then you. Okay.
Dada from Singapore.
Oh yes. Okay. I think we have to work on ourselves. We have to take stock of our own health and well-being, and from there, when we can make efforts to change in our lifestyle, the way we think, how we the habits, then we can be the example that will help others to, well, if he could do it, she could do it, why not me? So I think that will be one way which each and every one of us can immediately begin to affect the change by changing ourselves. And in this way, we will influence others around us who will be impressed by what we are doing to improve our health and our mental state. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Dr. Kubal Singh.
Thank you, sir. I believe to achieve a good health, we really need clean food and clean water.
Correct.
And unless not only we need ourselves, we also need for our surrounding that we need to take precautions how to ensure it. The good health will follow, and along with meditation. Thank you.
Great. Ajay Dhruvaji. Unmute yourself. Yeah.
Certainly concur with the statements made already. I can't ignore, though, or we cannot ignore the effect that poverty and disparity of wealth has on health and social health, mentally, physically. So
yeah, that is a very important point. We cannot miss that part.
Dileepji, you're frozen.
Me?
No, Dileepji.
yeah, I have to say, my internet on this device is very unstable this weekend, and I've crashed a number of times and had to log back in. So if I do, I apologize. I will come back.
Okay. Dr. Remy?
Yes, I think it depends on, what context we're looking at. If we're looking at, in terms of health, we look at it from the angle of human rights. Of course, every government has the, liability, I would say, to take care of its citizens or her citizens in making sure that there are accessible services, affordable services, and also places that are close inside, so that those services can be provided by individuals that or organizations that will be able to provide for the needs of the people. But I think most importantly, in the absence of all that, the self is the most important. The way we think of ourselves, the people we surround ourselves with, our lifestyles, food habits, and health and wellness activities. So the self is very important in talking about health and wellness. Think of yourself first, because no other person is coming, if you end up in the hospital, to be sick for you. Nobody's gonna be there in terms of carrying your pain and suffering. So think of yourself so that you can remain healthy always.
Hey. Dr. Danjo Isha. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
When people are poor, they cannot think for themselves. They cannot, we talk about, yes, we should think about ourselves, we should change. People in poor countries, people in poor communities, they have to travel miles to go to even a clinic. So we cannot expect poor people, to do all this by themselves. We have to have a healthcare delivery system in all developing countries, in rural areas, in Indian rural areas. So we just cannot expect, yes, you should do this and you should do that. In all developing countries, there is no healthcare delivery system. And United Nations should take upon itself to make sure that all developing countries have a healthcare delivery system, because otherwise people cannot survive. Poor people have to survive first before thinking of all this, that you should think about all this. So this is my recommendation, that the United Nations take up that we should have healthcare for all developing countries in a big way.
Ask a question.
So I'll ask Ramji to speak up. Please unmute yourself,
Dr. Ram Ji, please.
Dr. Ram.
I have worked with Amar since 1974. Worked in Central America, Caribbean islands, but I can just in the next few seconds talk about my visit with Burkina Faso in West Africa. I wrote a paper on it was entitled Healthcare Assessment in West Africa, specifically Burkina Faso, which was considered poorest country in probably the whole world. And in that paper, I remember there were several diagrams, cyclically, one is relating to the other and so forth. Poverty is something very basic because the statistics by UNICEF showed that in Burkina Faso, half the children died by age 5. And that's because of there was no immunization for simple things like measles, they were dying. And also poverty, there was no clean water, sanitation, and ignorance, and so on. There are frequent clash or battles or war. People are suffering because one leads to the other. Malaria itself killed 1 million people in the African continent in a year. We spend, politicians spend half of the income on military, but even a small fraction of that, if it's spent properly in the welfare of the people of the world, all these things will be taken care of. So there are many things to say in this. So in the beginning, we worked in Haiti along with the United Nations, International Red Cross. We had a close relationship. So also in Guatemala, 25,000 people died in earthquake in '76. And we had a big team there, medical relief. We had 2 clinics in Chimaltenango and the city of Guatemala. And part of our team remained there. We had a grant from Canadian government to rebuild because most people are poor in the hills. And there, when the earth shook, all the adobe homes built of big clay blocks, they fell and whole families died. That was a tremendous disaster. And so we provided corrugated laminate to provide, because the rain was due any moment. And in Guatemala, this worked very well. This was done as a cooperative way we did. And farmers had maize or corn, and they exchanged for a roof or a house. This was a simple house, 4 posts and a roof. And so cooperative systems, there are maybe other innovative way under those contexts or circumstances, which is feasible. I guess the time's up. So.
That's good. You brought some points from your personal experience. That thing people like me to hear. And now I like to invite the other COVID.
So we have just finished a week-long seminar, and we have discussed a variety of aspects to, to develop ourselves and society. So there is a huge project. The vision is large, and we need to cooperate. We need to network. So I think this is a great initiative. We have to have a high ideal, and just here we are connected by a high ideal. All here are idealists. They want to do something for society. So we have that common ground to stand on. So what we have this ideal and good ideas, but we have to connect them with resources. So in the West, we have to influence. People have time to develop subtler qualities of mind. They have time to delve into subtle ideas. So we need to spread the subtle ideas in our society. Everyone we come in contact with, we should be able to put in contact with good, higher ideas so that they can live a more subtle life, means food, exercise, ideas. In as many spheres as possible, we can influence them in personal life. Then once they have an ideal, that means if an intelligent person come in contact with a high ideal, they will recognize it as something great. Then, so in this, as we expand our networks, we also come in contact with more and more resources, and with good ideas and resources, we can work and balance this disparity in the world. So we have a lot of networking to do, locate resources that will come within a greater network, and then connect that idealism to where it's needed. And that service work will inspire these people tremendously to sacrifice and to do more service and to start an upward spiral. So I think this networking we do, we should share. Ananda Marga has a lot of good ideas. Other NGOs have also good ideas, and many of them are also in common. So we need to build on this, a high ideal. In Ananda Marga, we have a lot of personal practices like food advice, exercise, that some people may be interested in. Then we have a lot of service and knowledge from other NGOs. So we need to network, and we should come together more often and bring in more people and expose them to these ideas so that resources become available, and then we can implement. And this will spin off, when people say we can have impact, it touches the heart. And then they go into it with more energy. So this is my idea. We should continue with these meetings, expand our networks and exchange ideas, and be able to put these ideas into practice by reaching resources. So this is my input. Thank you very much, Namaskar.
Good points, because the 17th goal of the SDG is partnership. You see how I do things. All partnership events, a lot of them. So our last word from Ajay Abhidamananda ji. For you.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. So 1 second, I like to our panels. Anybody miss? Dinesh ji, you like to say something? 1 minute. Or Didi also, little bit.
Sure, Dada.
Go ahead.
Namaskar, everyone. Thank you very much for sharing your wonderful thoughts. I also believe, it's a monumental task. Like now, there are health issues, health both physical and mental, and health and well-being is the need of the hour. I would like to say, I think we need to really get to the root cause. There are so many issues that we have to tackle that, going in one direction may not solve, problem, for the entire humanity. So I believe we should, go back to the root cause. We need to go back to the basics, which is love for all, respect for all. I get, sometimes surprised that we are advanced, now in this, 21st century, but rishis in thousands of years ago, they found this essence. And these are some shlokas from, olden times. Om Shanti, Vanaspate Shanti, Antariksha Shanti. That means they did realize our existence is not just human being existence. We are part of this entire universe. And we need to respect each and every existence, part of the existence. And that's where I want to bring the mention of neo-humanism that Shri Prabhat-Ranjan Sarkarji, he propounded this theory that we should not look at just problems of the humanity. If we want to solve the problems for humanity, we need to go beyond humanity, look at plants, animals, every particle that exists in the universe. And now I think we are coming to realize what we have done to our nature. And that nature that we exploited, we ignored, is coming back. It's also adding to our sufferings, our own sufferings. We are not just the human beings are not just the beneficiaries of the resources in this universe that we believe this supreme consciousness has given. So service to all is basis for all the religions, all the spiritual organizations, all the social organizations. I think service is one thing that Sri Anandji also emphasized on. Without serving the humanity, without serving the entire universe, every the source of this existence, I think we cannot attain the happiness. So when I'm saying going back to basics, I think it is the secret that we all, I think really got from our forefathers, ancestors, and I think it is very much I think required that we revisit again. I will also like to in the end conclude with saying, thousands of years ago, this one shloka that comes to my mind is how everybody even think about it, and that means this is not something new that our forefathers found. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani prashantu, ma kasche dukha bhag bhavet. That means may all be happy, may all be free from illness, may all see what is auspicious, and may no one has to suffer. So with this, I would like to say that, if we want to really look at, well-being and happiness, I think we have to, look at, new humanism, love for each and every particle existence, human beings, plants, animals, and everything that, this Almighty has given us. Thank you, Ramit.
Thank you so much, Dileepji. Now I like to conclude by grace of Almighty and Supreme and my Master Sri Ananda Murtiji. And it is great occasion and moment for us, the platform of UN and understanding with this World Yoga community and headed by Guruji. It is the great honor and understanding which all panelists given in order to understand the health and well-being of the third agenda of United Nations. And Ananda Marga is quite understanding and endorsing and appreciating the entire world who has been doing and what we will do that. So in order to conference is concerned and understanding concerned, we know better than best whatever we have a knowledge and understanding and intuition and intellect, but at the same time it is required more to understand and deliver the service which Acharya Dhanju Vista has spoken. So as far as understanding is concerned, I would say our respected Kipalji and Dr. Remy has narrated overindulgence, and also Remy, the environmental health and emotional health and prevention health, a lot of things she has also spoken. And Dada Silvadrananda too, and also Acharya Dhanju Vista ji, and the balanced health of Acharya Silvadrananda and Dhanju Vista ji about the United Nations or understanding and cosmological understanding and the whole unit to cosmic and well-being entire understanding. He trying to present his experience. That was the very outstanding and wonderful that I do appreciate of understanding, and Dr. Ram also his experienced. An entire conference, I would say, went well. In order to think about the hope you are enjoyed a program, it is greatly appreciated. All the speaker, panelists, delegates, and guests. So I am very thankful to you, your time and understanding. So one thing I like to present here, Sri Ananda Murtiji has given numbers of the philosophy, but one philosophy called natural remedies and treatment for the entire organism or component of brain health and mental health, heart health, you could say kidney health, liver health, your whole organism of the cells, component, DNA, and limb, etc., etc. Whatever this organism connect and understanding of the doctors and scientists, they are presenting all over the world. World Health Organization, WHO, also, they have been practicing, understanding, and delivering. And whole world government of the uh, health department, they are trying their level best. And also bureaucracy or their thinker, their scientist. Whole first world countries, they have been trying their level best. But ground reality is completely different. Completely different. They're completely different. They don't know anything. Based on Dr. Ram's experience of the third world countries, Haiti or Africa, India, and various countries are there. They should go and look after that. They are ruling under this over umbrella of everything and thinking, and whatever I am doing, this is right. No, ground reality is very, very important to see. So Sri Ananda Murthy ji practiced and the cult of the practice of the practicality, and all the vanguard of Ananda Murthy ji, Sri Ananda Murthy ji, we used to go in the nook and corner of the world, in village to metro city, to educate the understanding of love, compassion, and reality of thoughts in order to practical form with the help of the lot of NGOs and doctors and scientists and philanthropists, and also connecting with the whole ambassadors and consulate of the world. Our workers, our volunteers, they have been trying level their best tirelessly. They don't have money, but they're trying their level best to dedication and sacrifice. How to convince their emotions, their intellect. We are trying to just to praying to them, but they are not understanding. We are failure to convince because the whole world is in dilemma of this. What? The dogma. Whole world is dilemma of the what? Their diplomacy, hypocrisy. They don't know about this emotional health and understanding. So I am very much agree of the Dr. Remy. She has narrated about the environmental health and emotional health that Anand Marga have been doing. So environmental, without the environment, we cannot do that. I landed here 5 years ago, or 4 years ago, 2016 and 17. How the physical in-person program, we have been connecting United Nations, more than 30, 40, 50 organizations, me and Dileepji, making a strategy and go ahead to deal with the each and every nook and corner and presenting our the understanding and giving the good relations, making a good relations. So I am trying to say here, the environmental health and also emotional health is very important. But at the same time, it is important to think about not overindulgence, what Dr. Kripalji said. So we should be balanced thinking, what Dada Silvadaranda said. In order to comprehend the all understanding and greatly to appreciate first the feeling of the family, that is the eliminated and decline. That has to be regained and restored again for the moral ground and also in honest, full manners, no matter how you are educated, no matter how you are responding. So it is the teaching, or this is the teaching of Sri Ananda Murthy, the founder of Anand Marg. Now a day, more than thousand that is dedicated saffron cadre all over the world. They are working more than 10,000 centers and 20, 50,000 volunteers. They are selflessly doing whatever you are seeing in the picture here. They have a dedicated persons, although they are the family member, but they are very much dedicated. Their time, their understanding, because of they are practicing the comprehensive understanding of these values and moral values, which is physically fit, mentally strong, and spiritually elevated. What Master has taught us, Master has given the routine. We are not wasting our time in the morning, 4 o'clock till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. We have been doing tirelessly work to present our things, which is realizing of the country or nation and community. But at the same time, it is very important to balance the emotional health. Our master has given so many understanding, but one understanding I'm presenting over here, which is emotional health, how we will balance. That is the very good tips he has given. That is music. called Prabhat Sangeet. He has mentioned is such a way how we can make a good environment. Nowadays, very static environment. Whatever entertainment of the world, this is dominating and digital world is dominating. Everybody has in the hand of mobile and they have dominated, just dominating and indulge with what? The statics and motative. They are not coming forward from the sentient world, which is very much important. That is the master has given all the emotional understanding. It might be love, sorrow, sadness, feeling of joy, or feeling of spirituality, feeling of love, or compassion, or apex understanding, an emotional understanding, connecting to the world, feeling of the respect, whatever you have in the mind of the emotions, thousand and thousand emotions are just prevailing and preventing. each and every moment is coming out. It might be sentient, dominating, mutative, or statics. All those emotions and our Master Sri Sri Ananda Murtiji just nurture and engage in this Prabhat Sangeet. Prabhat Sangeet means devotional song, which is very much important. That is, the cosmic mind knows what is all about of emotions. It might be statics or sentient or mutative. But sentient emotions is very important to understand. That is the Prabhat Sangeet and music. If you do regularly, that Anand Marga is doing regularly Prabhat Sangeet in the morning, 5 o'clock to 5:30. This time of the music and meditation and offering of prayer all over the world, more than thousand and thousand centers. We are making such a good environment where the flora and fauna and the whole natures and creation, words and animals and insects should understand the feeling of understanding. This is the spiritual feeling. This way we can overcome the understanding of this mind and emotion of this whole creation. Once you feel that also plant also feeling, oh, here I can stay very well. I went to the Dr. Ram and he has just his garden, he was there. He's saying, Dadaji, this is this plant, this is this plant, is very good plant, because regularly we are doing the meditation. We are regularly chanting the kirtan. So it is the important date for us to connect of the whole world. For what? Our master has given that is the 5 things: education, medicine, health, food, and cloth. So one point is the health, that is the medicine. Medicine is not only medicine from pharmacy, medicine from the counseling, medicine from the giving the such a understanding. Love, once you listening them, they feel happy. So nothing more to say. My point is here, it is very important to comprehend all the NGO, all the civil society, all the government officials, bureaucracy. They have a responsibility, because all intellectuals, they are not what can say enjoying, they are also exploiting of the whole world. And subtlest way, what the other COVID said, it is important to deliver the whatever intellect you have in the hand. Go in the ground, as in the village, countryside, to think about the poor and poorest, what Ajahn Dev said. So our duty, and not only NGOs duties, all government and particularly United Nations has a duty to govern such a autonomous body in the each and every village, where the 5 fundamental guarantee is required: health, cloth, food, education, and shelter, which is very much important. That is the bureaucrats, like intellect people, those who have understanding, they will be give some good understanding, and also create such a eco village of yoga and meditation and health and well-being, where the each and every village feel prosperous. We can give some counseling, and also oxygen you cannot buy. Oxygen is the nature. Nature is everything. Water, pure water we can deliver. Food, there is no what can say a scarcity of the food in the nature. That is easily available. Meaning is that only is our duty to deliver. And moral lesson and moral values, yama and niyama, what Dada Silvananda told. This is the moral principle has to teach, and proper and fundamental discipline. They should not be hypocrite, they should not be dogmatic, and this and that. So these are the understanding which I trying to coherent and correlate. But our respected Guru Dileepji has also presented the video, which is very much important to globally to connect and know the emotions of the each and every culture and civilizations, how they are trying to connect to the community, because we cannot ignore the psychology. That psychology is very important. Study and plan the next, which our master has said too. So Anand Marga is doing more than 100 countries, thousands and thousands of volunteers to create such a good environment in order to understand the human being and also their importance, and also new humanism with the non-living being and living being also. Therefore, we able uh, to present and deliver the better service to the society. Society is now a need of ours to change of the thoughts. We are in the digital era. We need to environment and make a industrial era. So we as Ananda Margas, mountain nuns, and all the our family Margi followers, they are trying to deliver their best to do something positive. So thank you so much for having such a wonderful session. And thank you, Dr. Remi, Dr. Acharya Dhrupji, Acharya Dhanju Gistaji, Dada Silvedradanji, and also Dr. Kripalji, and our Dr. Ramji, Timirji. So these are the panels. Thank you so much once again. And Didi Achira, and the entire participant and delegates. Navinji and the senior Margis are there. Senior followers of Anand Marg are here, and delegates. And Kamla Rose Kaurji, she also joined. So whatever I'm going to see here, I'm acknowledging their participants' time and encouragement. And Sivji, Ranjan Devji, and also Kebal Kumarji, and also Deji Samno Pradeepji, and Ritaji, Ghanendra Tanmayji, Tara Deviji. So entire our team and Shyamji. So these are our participant and delegates. Thank you so much once again. So I am handing over to Dileepji and your kind cooperation, and also United Nations, all delegates and dignitaries who have been supporting this the 2030 agenda of 17 agenda of UN, and Anand Marga is endorsing around the globe. On behalf of Anand Marga, I am ensuring to do something for future, and I expecting from this United Nations and delegates to connect with the Anand Marga, each and every unit of the whole world. Thank you so much once again. God bless you, and God bless US, United Nations, and WHO, and entire world who is suffering. Take care of this suffering people because of the pandemic situation. Once again, thank you so much for having such a
Thank you, Acharya Abhinavanandaji, for your wonderful words, wisdom. And we'll have 1 minute meditation.
So, Didi, I think music 1 minute and one. Okay.
Silent. We are going to end up.
Good, good.
So just pray for everyone, those who suffer with this corona and all of. Just mentally pray for. Thank you, everyone, for joining this wonderful gathering, meeting, discussion, panel, music. It was very elevating event. I enjoyed it. Well, last 1 week, day and night, I was with the different groups. And this week, this is the last program online. I'm going to take a break tonight.
You are doing very hard work.
No, we had to, because we have to bring people in conscious state,
That's true.
They are not aware about all of the stuff, what is going on. So I have advantage. So I'll use that situation for people. That's the way it is.
Good, good.
Thank you, everyone.
So Anudhyananandji and the Parivanandaji here. Thank you so much, Dadaji. And
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. You deserve a break.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Remi, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. God
Thank you.
bless.
God bless.
See you soon.
Thank you very much.